So you're really getting into this strumming on the bass thing, huh?
What's that?
Said you're really getting into strumming on the bass thing, huh?
Yep. Are
Nice.
you're backwards on my screen, so I don't know if yours is right.
We're good. Is that part of your physical therapy? Is strumming it out?
That's part of my mental therapy.
Uh,
So I don't know, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit with people on here and one of our 19 listeners has a Fender Precision sitting in the garage or something.
I actually wonder. That'd be probably a good guest to get on. Would be somebody that's plays. Somebody that actually plays the instrument.
Like
Anything?
a rock star or
No, no,
just
no,
like
no, no,
some
no.
rando who plays a
Yeah,
well,
just
I'm
a
a rando fucking cocksucker who plays bass.
yeah, but you know, um, like some of the most down to earth and genuine people are people that haven't made it or just normal people.
Yeah.
Mm. So I don't know. I think it'd be a good thing. But yeah,
Ah, fuck.
that's one of my regrets is playing in the school band for almost 4 years. I didn't play anything cool. I played the trombone, so it would have been nice if I. My brother played percussion, so I kind of wish I could go back and play percussion. So I think that would have benefited me more. But
Playing the trombone.
yeah, like what do trombone players do? They play in jazz bands or they play in orchestras or they're pretty limited instruments. Like even trumpets and tubas have more opportunity than like baritones and trombones. So, but the only reason I play the trombone was because it was free.
The rusty trombone.
No, not the rusty one. Don't taint my childhood. Pun intended. Um, but yeah, hey, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Jake.
I'm Jake.
This is Jake and
I'm
Drake show.
fumbling or didn't realize you're recording. I'm so fumbling around with my mic.
Hmm.
Dropping shit behind my desk.
Yeah, that's what you tell people you're fumbling around with.
Yeah. Well, I realized one of the reasons my mic stand kept bending over was because it had slipped out of the sleeve that attaches to my desk.
Hmm.
So now it should stay a little bit better.
Tell you what, you should go get yourself a mic stand like Jonathan Davis.
The Geiger one? Nah.
Just something artsy. And
I
just
mean,
like on a mini level for like your desk, something like that. Like,
I
obviously,
could do that, but
yeah,
why?
yeah, it's just cool. It just
If I was
customized
gonna
that.
if I was gonna get a custom mic stand or something like that, I'd want to get one like a real metal artist.
Okay, well then get one like a real metal artist. Is that supposed to be a
You're you're,
dig? You,
you're
you,
totally
you
you're,
didn't
you're
hurt
totally
my
dodging
feeling.
that shot
It didn't bother me. Like I don't
from
argue with
somebody
it.
who plays metal.
No, I didn't. I didn't even say that he played metal. See, I didn't. I didn't list the genre. He plays music. You can argue which music he wants to play. I just said a customizable mic stand on your desk. Like if I had like, I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming that you have a lot of fucking fuck you money laying around. Not a lot, but probably more than I do. Uh,
Most of my fuck you money goes into guns.
yeah. So just save the brass and get some dudes metal worker, have them melt down the brass, and I don't know, dude, make like a badass little mic boom or something.
Lex from Three Teeth uses like a Picatinny one with a
Hmm.
foregrip on it.
Really? You got a
Yeah.
picture of that?
Um, no, but I've seen him in concert several times.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty tight. Yeah, just get like a mini one for the desk. That would be pretty badass. I think. I think. I think personally. But uh, yeah. So what's been going on with you lately besides mental therapy?
Mental therapy, playing bass. That's it.
Hmm.
Fighting with my insurance company. Got
Still?
denied again.
Still?
Yep.
Uh,
Nope. Here, I'm sending you the picture of Lex's mic stand.
okay. I'm anxiously awaiting.
There you go.
It's pretty tight. That's pretty tight. What's that on the bottom? Is that Oh, those are okay. I see what that is. So, what is this band? Is this band a heavy metal band or something?
And more industrial.
It's an industrial band. That's pretty nice. It looks like the boom actually works. Like he pulls it in and can move it. It looks like it's fully functional. Yeah, you should get something like that. Just cut it off at the base, or cut it off at the. Just make the base right there before whatever that skull-looking thing is before you get to the full rail, and then you would just vice use a vice, put a vice on there, weld a vice or something, then vice it to your desk, and that'd be pretty badass. I think the only thing that could make that thing more badass, right, is if you had like a custom paint job on all those rails. So I don't know, dude. Whatever tickles your fancy. Just uh, fuck, dude. Chrome it out, camo it out, tan it out. Black's kind of.
Well, I mean, I'm waiting for someone to acquire some paint for me.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That guy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that guy, slacker, fucking slacker. Send me a list. Send me NSNs. Fucking slackers. But yeah. So yeah, if any of our 19 subscribers have a Fender Precision bass um, sitting around collecting dust, preferably beat up, would be nice if it was the maple from the 70s. Um, but any Fender Precision, as long as the maple fretboard.
Oh, it's a fascination with the year.
That's the only time they made the maple bodies was the 70s.
But what does the maple matter?
It was a little bit different resonance in the sound.
But you're gonna paint it. Doesn't that affect the resonance?
No, I mean it will so minutely, but no.
Hmm.
It's heavier. The maple. I mean, I found some, aftermarket maple bodies I could get and finish, and they're relatively inexpensive, but they're all the light maple. It's the dark, the heavy maple that I need.
Okay.
It
So
also practically doubles the weight of the guitar, so from 9 pounds to 15 or 16 pounds.
just based off of the wood,
Yep,
and that's supposed to give it a sound that you want.
yep.
Okay. So silly question. Why don't you just have one made?
I mean, I could, but I'd rather. I'm building the Steve Harris guitar, and instead of buying a Steve Harris signature guitar for
Mm-hmm.
$12.50,
Right.
I'm going to get the original shit and build it. I don't know, just
I'm just gonna say, don't you like custom build your own guns?
I can. Some of
Okay,
them,
and you
or
have.
some parts anyway. Yeah,
So,
I have thought of like building it from scratch. You mean
yeah,
like
yeah, like you go out and you buy the
become
upper
a luthier?
receiver.
I think is that it's luthier.
Oh, wait, what? The guitar?
Yeah, I'm the luthier. I think is a person who creates stringed instruments, if I remember correctly. If that's the right name I'm trying to think of. Yeah, no, I mean I've looked at it and I can buy the separate parts and pieces and put one together. However, I'm not finding anyone who's making maple bodies because it's fucking heavy and most people don't want heavy maple bodies. I did find a place that has the light maple. They're from China and it's the Chinese maple and it's the light maple. So I need the heavy maple.
Like the shit in Canada.
Yes, and here in the United States.
Mm. I don't know. I
Most of the bodies are ash or alder now. So
yeah. Hmm. Well, good luck with that. I don't know. I don't know anybody that. I knew a dude. I actually went to school with him, and he ended up joining the army, and I ended up joining the army, and then. But I didn't know he joined the army. Like we were in the same grade. I think we knew known each other since our freshman year, and then I was stationed somewhere, and he happened to be there, and I saw him at the gym, and then we hung out a couple times, and then he went like kind of like Lieutenant Dan. Like he didn't lose a limb, but he got out and he just became like an activist, which is fine. That wasn't where the disconnect was. And we were still bros. There was like, I remember this shit was so funny.
activist about what?
He just, he became like an extreme libtard when he got out of the army. So he was okay with the guitar. He used to play, we'd go out to like beach parties. He'd bring his guitar, play it, try to catch some women with it or whatever. That was his thing, huh?
Here's the trick with that. You don't have to know how to play the guitar really well to pick up chicks. You just learn it enough to play a couple songs, and then learn the beginnings of the rest of the songs. Just learn a ton of beginnings, and you sit around with your friends, and you all play the beginnings of the songs, and then you're like, oh no, I don't like that one. Let's just switch it up, and then finally get around to the one you play all the way through, and then all the girls around the campfire are throwing their panties at you, and there you go.
Well, yeah, I agree with you completely. Um, but at any rate, he just got out, and he had a lot of guitars. Um, he got out, and he just became like an act. Like the thing is, like, and this is way before I was political, way before. Dude, this was like in 2012, 2014, right? And he just had like some of these weird wacko friends because he tried to, what does everybody want to do that tries to make it big in the music industry? They move out to California. So he moved out to California, and he just had like a Facebook list full of all these weird people. And you tell they're weird just looking at their picture, right? Or it's like, who the hell dresses like that? Or who the hell wears that kind of makeup? Or, all right, well, whatever. Maybe I'm just ignorant. But there's some girl, I forgot. I think I posted like a military funny thing, like just like stupid shit in the army. It was like a stupid video, right? And she commented something about it and missing the point that it's a joke shared between brothers. And I kind of gave her the business, and then he said some shit, like he replied to me. I guess I don't know if that was his squeeze or what it was, and then I didn't even reply to him, and then the next thing you know, he blocked me. So we have been in community, but he's like the last person I really was close to that was really. There's another guy, but I wasn't close to him. I worked with him in 2000. No, that guy was 2014. The guy I was just talking about was like 2012, and he ended up getting out, and he does like he's the guy that sits behind and fucks with these, and I think I talked to you about him last week, but he doesn't play any instruments, so I don't know anybody particularly that plays instruments. It's kind of like you would know those people because you have a shared interest. I really, as much as I would like to play those instruments,
I haven't had this interest in fucking years. In fact, I was like looking up some stuff and trying to figure out a couple of the particular riffs and things that I had struggled with 20 fucking years ago and shit. More than 20 years ago now, mid 90s. And musicians have it so much easier now. If you're picking up a guitar and trying to learn a song or a riff or whatever, it's just like boom, Google it, and you've got the tab right there.
Mm-hmm.
And
right, you don't have to play by ear.
And yeah, for me, it was sitting there figuring out, Steve Harris's bass riff just from playing the song back, this one section of the song back over and over and over, and trying to pick out each
Mm-hmm.
piece of it, and then knowing his style, figuring out, okay, well, it's going from here to here to here, so he's probably playing it this way,
Mm-hmm.
kind
And
of thing.
and that's kind of as far as like learning something, right? Like as far as like retaining something you learn. Okay, you sit there and you wonder how bands will they'll have an album and 10 years later they'll go on tour and they'll still remember the riffs and they'll still remember the drum. The vocals are probably a little bit easier with the exception of like memorizing the lyrics, but in the same sense, if you were to just read a tab and memorize it versus you actually put effort into, you know, you oh hold on, nope, you know what I mean, and then you actually unlock it, right? You're essentially on that same level. Not quite
Oh,
because you're
yeah, no,
you're
I wouldn't say
yeah,
on that same
you're
level.
not the creative part, but the fact that you discovered it on your own, right?
You
It's probably
you understand the process
hmm
versus just the note.
right.
That's one thing I had learned and figured out was I mean, I'm using Steve Harris because he was one of my major influences, and that's what I've been playing more of lately. Um, but I learned like his particular patterns, so I wouldn't necessarily have the specific riff down, but I'd know, all right, he's got this flourish right here, and this is his style, so I can add my own flourish in, make it sound like something he'd play that goes right along with it because it's that same style following the same patterns of his playing, if that makes sense.
hmm No, that makes complete sense. But what made you pick Steve Harris? I'm sure there were pretty notable bassists out there. Was it just that you were already listening to that band?
Are you hold on a minute? Are you trying to say that Steve Harris is not a notable bassist?
No, no, I said other notable bassists. So I'm saying like there's other ones out there. Like
Yeah,
let
Cliff
me give you
Burton,
a newer
Geddy
one.
Lee,
Well, yeah, but I don't know their names. I just know the bands they play for. But
and they're not that notable.
well, I'm just not that into music. I, I'm not as grounded in that facet of a lifestyle as you are, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine not being a metalhead. I'm fine not being a heavy metalhead, a black metalhead, but those bassists you named, you didn't take anything from them. It was just Steve Harris. Like, you know what
Well,
I mean?
no, of course I took bits from everybody to learn. Um, I mean, I cut my teeth on Rush, and I think one of the first songs I learned was fuck, Limelight. No, not Limelight. What was that one? I don't remember now off the top of my head. But it was the guy I learned from. He was a big Rush fan, and so here I am, this 15-year-old kid, handed a now like $3,000 bass guitar and said, "Yeah, go ahead, just don't break it, and, send it home with me to just practice." It
Mm-hmm.
was a Rickenbacker, and I that's on my bucket list of bass guitars as well. But
Mm-hmm.
and Cliff Burton, he had a great style also, finger style. I don't like the picking bass guitar styles.
Why not?
Um, I just don't. 'Cause I can get the same speed without it. Um, and if I need a crunchy sound, I'll sometimes use a pick, but or would I should say I would have in the past, but it's not been even the fastest speed like playing Slayer. Tom Araya uses a pick, but I can play the same shit with my fingers. Um, fuck. Rob Trio. He is Metallica's new bassist. So Cliff Burton was their second bassist, which is first on the recordings, Metallica. Then they got Jason Newkid after Cliff died, and when Newsted left the band, then they did that whole hiring process thing and made that movie or whatever. That's when Rob Trio came in. I read a thing about that, and they're talking about how they weren't sure. He came in to play and didn't have a pick that he could. It's like I'm not sure about this guy, but no, I mean he kept up just fucking fine. A good bassist can play with their fingers fucking fast,
Mm.
and and in my opinion, you got a little bit more control over the sound as well. If you want, you can grow your fingernails out a little bit longer so you can get more of a pick sound, um, and so on. But yeah, just play with the fingers.
What about the other guitar? Have you played? You played regular guitar? Have you played lead? Have you played rhythm? Any of that
I mean,
before?
I've played a little bit of rhythm guitar just to fill in as needed for mainly when sitting down and like recording ideas and stuff. I'd play a little bit of rhythm guitar. Um, I would never say I could play lead guitar. I could sit down and record a lead riff that I had come up with or something like that, but I wouldn't say I could play lead guitar at all.
Hmm.
Even in rhythm guitar is still very very basic, just the
Right.
general power chords and
Right.
background stuff. It's guitar, but guitars never interest me.
And what about percussion?
Barely. I played a little bit of drums, mostly enough just to again set down tracks or record a riff that I wanted. Most of the drum stuff I did though was with a MIDI controller, and I just kind of clicked it in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think I saw one dude. This I would. I wish I had it. I wish I knew this was what we were really going to go into today. But I saw this really. It's a phone app, right? And on the phone app, it's got you could change the instruments, right? So you can go in and basically it's like a MIDI app on your phone. So you could play drums, you could play guitar, you could play any instrument, which it has a lot of them, keys, and there's four dudes sitting in an SUV. There's five dudes sitting in an SUV, and four of them have their phone apps, and the guy starts playing. The guys start playing like some like Mexican mariachi song, like everybody on their phone, and that shit was pretty badass. It was, and the guys singing along with it. So yeah, man.
Yeah, technology's come so fucking far since I was like really digging into the music stuff. I mean, previously you'd need systems that cost, many thousands of dollars that you can now just do on your home PC,
Hmm.
the recording and stuff like that. I mean, at the school I went to, it was we had the 2-inch reel tapes, and those were fucking like $100,000 kind of thing. We had, and the school I remember had one of the first DATs that were being used, and so for digital recording and digital audio and so on. And it's just yeah, man, it's a whole different ball game now. Now you can just, all that equipment could pretty much be replaced by, a good PC, a good mic, and a small mixing board, and you can multi-track whatever you want. And
So what you're saying is you'll come up with a demo track by the end of the year.
now, so I don't play the other instruments.
Oh, but you
I
don't
don't have
need
a
to.
keyboard
You,
either.
you don't need
I
to.
thought about,
What?
well, I need to have at least a keyboard. I don't have a keyboard. I was looking at this little Korg Mini keyboard, but I'm not that interested in it to spend, $500 on this thing, and when I could, I don't know, buy another gun or something, or buy a box of ammo.
Ammo. Yeah.
Yeah, why spend $500 on this keyboard when I can buy another box of 50,
I
box
will
of 9
say I
millimeter?
will say that I mean, I like to play devil's advocate sometimes, but you spend $500 on that whatever, and you're pretty much just composing shit free of charge minus an electricity bill versus you go to the range and you shoot that ammo. Now you gotta buy new ammo versus you're doing that. You're getting something out of it for free. So there's an upside to dropping that kind of capital into something. You do get a long term enjoyment out of it, right?
I'll tell that to my wife.
Well, you said your wife plays, right? Your wife plays bass too.
She plays bass, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or did.
Does not anymore.
Not really. Especially since, well, I stole her bass and is now sitting right next to me.
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
But she hasn't played since we moved. I think she played a little bit in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
We're still living, but she hasn't touched it since we moved up here. And I mean, honestly, I hadn't either. My guitars are still in storage. I did when we went to storage last. Instead of bringing my guitars up here, I just brought my pedals, some of my pedals and cables and stuff. She had a shitty cable that kept cutting out and was pissing me off. So now I want to get now I'm thinking I want my guitar strap because the strap is a little bit too small, so it's the bass sits higher up than I'm used to. I'm used to kind of slung low. So, yeah.
So you're thinking about putting a 3-point sling on your bass guitar?
Nah.
Do people actually? I'm curious. Do people? So normally that sling goes from like the back side of the guitar. It'll come around your shoulder blade. It'll go to like the midpoint of that guitar, right? So the guitar sits in front. Would there ever be a need to just put that end point sling where it's just at the bottom with a giant loop around you? Because right, essentially.
No, because the neck would, if you let go of it, the neck would just fall flat down and smack the ground.
Right. But essentially, if you're just holding the neck, you're not having to, because, the whole point is to support the weight of the guitar, I guess. So you could just do this and it's sitting on you. But what if you just wanted to hold it? I guess you got a point, but whatever, I'm digging.
Yeah,
So,
there are always times you may have to let go of the guitar, so you don't want to have that. Lest you want to risk your
buying a new guitar.
Buying a new guitar or replacing broken parts.
Yeah. Oof. Oh, so, what's the deal with your physical aspect? How's that?
Same old, same old.
Yeah.
I'm fighting with the insurance company. They apparently denied this last round, this last attempt, but it sounds, from what the doctor's office told me, it sounds like it's a paperwork hiccup. So, well, we'll see. Hopefully that'll happen fucking soon. I don't want to keep taking opiates and.
Yeah. So did you ask your doctor if you can drink?
Not with the opiates.
Well, with the new meds. I thought you were going to talk to him about the new meds, whether or not you were able to.
I just want to get on them first, dude. I don't, at this point, I don't fucking care. If I have to not drink anymore, fine.
I just want to do a podcast with you. I just
drunk? You want to see me drunk again?
See you. Wait, I'm not going to see you. Like, I mean, and the last time you were drunk, I was really drunk. So, because I didn't really drink. Like, you understand, most of the drinking I did.
Dude, you were slurping up spilled rum.
I was.
Off the top of the counter.
I was, but I was already drunk by that point, and I don't. At that point in my life,
10 in the morning, and we had not left for the show yet.
But we had flasks, and we were getting buzzed, and
we weren't getting buzzed yet. It had just, we were filling the flasks, and some spilled, and you were slurping it up. Don't alcohol abuse. Slurp, 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 slurp.
I'm surprised you remember that, but
fuck, dude, I remember that kind of shit.
As I was saying, in my younger years, like I was actually talking about like the chronology of. I think I was telling a lady this or somebody, but for the longest time, the last like heavy drinking I did, I was 19, and I had this party. It was my birthday party, it was my 19th birthday party, and I got fucking drunk, toasted, sick. And before that, I had done like a little bit of drinking where I went to parties. Hell, I even like mixed. I stole my parents' alcohol.
I recall you talking about a couple months ago, going to some party. and getting shitty drunk, puking, and passing on the couch, and having to go back and get your car and stuff the next day. Or
Right, but like I said, so that incident when I was 19 and I got just fucking demolished. I never drank like that again, like for the rest of my life. But that was the most I had ever drank, and those were beers and wine coolers. And I was 19, I was smaller, and I didn't normally drink. And then when I joined the army, I always just kept like some beer on hand in case I had a friend come over, in case I had a girl come over, and more importantly, if somebody ever called you, because that's the thing, if somebody called you and like, yeah, I need you to come in, and you're like, I already started drinking, right? So technically, if you're off duty and you're drinking, and then they like, we need you to come to work, well, you can't show up to work drunk, so you just go ahead and you pound a couple beers. That's the. But I never really drank like that. Even when I went to Germany, and I drank on the weekends, and I just drank beer. I had some wine, but I didn't really appreciate wine until I dated that Jennifer chick. And then when I dated Jennifer, right, that was her name, Jennifer, Unholy Lady from WoW.
yep.
Yeah. So when I dated her and I went up to Portland, we tried all these wines, and I grew an appreciation for wine. And
Did I
then
tell you I saw her a couple years ago?
maybe.
That was the weekend I did the Go Ruck in Portland, and we had chatted and we are gonna meet up at some place, some bar or whatever afterwards, and
Well, how did you
I was
did you have her
fucking
number? How did you contact
yeah.
her?
We she and I were friends before you and she, dude.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I don't know. I just was like, how did you guys just? Okay, all right. Okay, so you guys hung out.
Yeah,
Right on. That was
but
what?
I was out of it, and I had barely eaten, so I didn't want to be weighted down with too much food, and after the event, there was like beers all around, and then you know the fan club were buying, well, I've called it the fan club, your English fan club,
Mm.
were buying me drinks and stuff, and so I was pretty fucking wasted, and I once I think I took like a half an hour nap and then booked over there to that restaurant or whatever, and we hung out, and she took me to like her work at a museum. We had to check out the museum and stuff like
Oh,
that.
she was
That
still
was it.
working there.
Yeah.
I don't like speaking ill of her, but working at where she worked, that nonprofit, it was called the U, if I remember correctly, right? Like the YU or something. The YU, because I went up there the third time that we hung out. I went up there and I actually helped do some construction work on there, just because she volunteered me. And you're young and dumb, right? And you're in love for all the wrong reasons. So I was like, yeah, okay. And I ended up, the entire time I was on vacation, I would like get up in the morning and then I'd go to the Yale Union. That's what it was. The Yale Union, right? Does that sound right?
That's something like that.
Yeah. But like working in that place, you have to have like no aspirations. Like I couldn't do that. Because I think she was, if I remember correctly, she had a biology bachelor's degree and then she majored in business. Does that sound right? Does that
I
sound right?
don't recall.
Something like that. But yeah, and then she just basically got a job working at the nonprofit, and all she did was manage their books, which it's a comfortable job, but it's fucking expensive in Portland. She ain't making that much money. But then, okay, I just remembered her mom is like a fucking millionaire, so whatever. But anyway,
Nope,
so
nope, man. Millionaires are poor now. Remember?
I missed the joke.
Well, no. Since Bernie made his million, it's no longer take down the
Oh,
millionaires.
oh,
It's
take down the billionaires, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Um, but so she made me have an appreciation for wine, and then after that, I still only drank. And remember that, like when I was dating her, we had only gone to BlizzCon together, I think once. at that point. And the time that we went and we got the flask, was that the second or third time? I don't remember. I think it was, because the thing
I
is,
actually want to say that was the first time
no, no, it
because
wasn't. No,
because
it
it was
wasn't.
Kime who I think took the picture.
No, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Kimmy, because that fucking GameStop girl was with us.
GameStop girl was with us
Yes,
at
the
that one.
yes, that one I do remember. That what fucking what Red
That was our
Queen?
second one.
What's her name?
Yes, Kayla.
Kayla. Thank you.
Kayla.
Kayla was there. No, the one that we went to the first time. Yes, the girl with cancer and whatever. They were there, but we weren't. Like, I wasn't flasking, and I mean we would go, because I remember coming back and there was tequila, there was Jameson, but like I normally don't drink that. I didn't really start drinking liquor like on a daily or on a weekly, on any kind of schedule, with any kind of tolerance, or what's the any kind of um, intellectual
Regularity.
intellectual perception of how many drinks per hour, blah blah. Like, you just don't know. All I know is, oh, Darian's telling me to take another shot, quit being a pussy. Okay. Okay, Darian's making me a fucking Jameson Coke or something. Okay. And the next thing you know, I'm waking up with a fucking headache and a gaping asshole. I mean, but no, I didn't drink liquor like that. I'd start
So
drinking.
to our 19 people who listen, Jake's the guy you take on the camping trip because he won't say anything if he wakes up in his tent alone, still all sticky with his ass sore.
Mm-hmm. And bleeding. But yeah, dude, it was in 2000. Was this past COVID year, 2020. 2020, I had my elbow surgery, and they gave me a bunch of painkillers, and I took, just like the last surgery I had, which was my eye surgery when I had PRK. I knew that, and the eye surgery, I had no fucking choice, dude. If you ever get your eyes zapped, it's worth it, but I think that is by far. I mean, I don't know what your asshole was like, I don't know what your back is like, but dude, I was doing this to my eyeballs because they hurt so bad. And so I took painkillers for an entire week, and I didn't shit for an entire week. And so when I had this elbow surgery, I was like, well,
You
this
got
is
to take stool softeners with opiates.
they
Man.
didn't give them to me, and they didn't tell me.
You ask for them.
No, I didn't
Or
know.
go to the pharmacy and get something over the counter.
This was 2007. Okay, I can tell you, this was February of 2007 when I had the surgery. Okay, and before that, the last surgery I had with painkillers, I was 18. That was like November of 2001 when I had ACL surgery. So I don't have surgery too frequently. So the first time, I was young, and my mom was with me, so she's a nurse and she knows shit, so she just gives me shit and I take it. 2007, I'm out on my own. I have eye surgery. I fucking pop these pills, and to try to take away the pain. Really, what they did is they just put me to sleep and they gave me cotton mouth. So I woke up and I pissed like tea, drank some water, took another pill, went back to bed. I did that for like 3 days straight, and then after that, I could actually get up, do shit. But this time, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not even gonna take. I'm gonna take one. So I took one when I came home from the hospital, and I went out. And then after that, I did not take any more. Like, I still have a full bottle minus one pill somewhere in the house, just in case, I have like a midlife crisis and I need to sell some prescription meds on the streets or something like that. But yeah, I was just like, you know what? Let me try scotch. I know scotch is a sophisticated man's drink. So I went to the store, bought a bottle of scotch. I was like, oh man, that. Okay, well, let me try with ice, because I generally like cold drinks. And then you let it water it down a little bit, and you're like, oh, that's not bad. I can, yeah. And then you buy another bottle, and then you buy another bottle, and all of a sudden, and remember, you're on convalescent leave for 2 weeks, which means you're not going to work. So essentially, I became like a day drinker, in the sense of I just drink about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I developed a taste for it, and then kind of just collection grew, and I drank all the shit that I didn't like, and I tried to
But
keep
see,
it.
I wasn't pressuring you to drink. I was training you for future life lessons,
How
for
okay?
future day
How
drinking.
old were you at that time? The first BlizzCon, that was 2007. No, that's 2006. 2006 was the first BlizzCon we went to. Um,
So,
were you my age, older or younger? I'm 38 now. So that was what, 15 years ago?
so I would have
15 years.
been 34
Okay,
in 2006
you were well
or
versed in
2007.
you were more experienced in heavy drinking than I was. And then the second time was what, 2009, I think?
I thought it was the next straight up next year.
No, we didn't go to the one the next year. Let's see.
Oh, that's right. And
Yeah.
Metallica played that one,
hmm
and it was like fuck. And then we went the next year, and it was fucking
It
Blink
was
180. Who?
no, Blink 182 wasn't that was the last one, wasn't it?
Oh,
It
okay.
was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. It
Torn
was
Chieftain band, right?
well. No, they played at all of those, but it was
Well, they had the
Was it
comedian.
Muse?
No, they didn't have a band. They either had it was the Torn Chieftain or it was the comedian. It was that J
Jay
whatever.
Moore. He emceed all those BlizzCons.
Okay, well then who the hell was it? God, I don't remember. I got my pass around here somewhere. I could look it up. But yeah, we went to that one. That was a couple years later, and then we went again. Okay, yes. So we went when I was in Georgia, and then we went again for the third and final time when I was in Virginia. So the time in Georgia, it was 2000. I want to say it was 2009 because they were always like in October, November. So it was like 2009 November. And then when I was in Virginia, it was October of 2013. I want to say. Yeah.
I went a couple years ago, not a couple years, more than a couple years ago. Um, and who was playing? I don't remember who was playing. Fuck, I don't remember. And then my wife and I went again. We had planned on going down there and weren't able to get tickets. And I figured, fuck it, we'll just get tickets down there. There's always somebody selling them, but the people who were selling them wanted crazy amounts for them, and like, fuck it, let's just go to Universal or whatever. And so
Mm-hmm.
we went to Universal. We went to Universal and got the BlizzCon experience anyway, standing in lines for the rides.
Did you guys ever end up, did you guys ever, or you end up ever actually making one of those after parties?
Um, like the one with GameStop girl. We went to the after party.
I,
Yes, you did because you ended up driving
yeah,
my car back.
yeah. Well, I don't know how much you want to go into that story, but I didn't drive your car back. I remember that now.
Oh, you changed the tire though.
Well, no, you drove, got the flat tire, and then I ended up driving back after you got the flat tire, and I changed
I
it
got the flat tire in the fucking parking lot.
because you ran over
A curb.
a curb, and you had a fucking Prius because your dick is so long that you have a Prius.
It's too big for the Corvette. My dick won't fit.
Uh-huh. But yeah, no. That wasn't really an after party, dude. Like that was the one where we went into the lobby of the hotel and they had the escalators blocked off. We couldn't even get up there. And you were trying to fucking be like, "Oh yeah, Bashiok told me to blah blah."
No. It was Zerum.
Well, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went to another place after that, and that place was like popping with people, but like the notable celebrities weren't there. The notable celebrities of the Blizzard community weren't there.
That was a different night. I think
That
was
one
a
was the
different night.
one that, well, it's there 2 nights, right? So you show up Friday night, and then you do Saturday night because the event's on Saturday and then it's on Sunday and then you're flying home pretty much
No,
Monday morning.
Sunday's closed. It's open Friday, Saturday. I thought, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Well, it's only and that's what I really hated about BlizzCon is it's like only a BlizzCon should be a 2 day event. Or a 3 day event. It really should. Like all those other ones, like some of those Comic Con shits and everything, anime cons, they last for like an entire week. Like you can't get the convention center for 3 days, or you can't find a place for 3 days. So that always pissed me off. But whatever, we went to one place and it was Wowhead before Wowhead was big, and that was the Wowhead after party. And we went there, and there was just a bunch of
No, that was the pre-party. That was the pre-party on Thursday night. I remember that.
Oh, okay, yeah. 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 Unrelated, what is up with GameStop girl? What is she doing nowadays? Is she married, got kids?
I haven't talked to her in a while. She did come to my wedding.
What is her name? Kayla?
Kayla.
Kayla what?
I'm not going to say right now.
Oh, put it in chat, or put it in... I just typed a random last name. Dude, you right. Thank you. Let me see. She still got that rowdy red hair?
Well, I don't know now, but last time I saw her, she did not. It was black.
Yeah. Is she still in Cali?
I believe she is. Yeah, because she bought a condo there.
I'll find her. And add her. I used to be friends with her on Instagram, and then I deleted my Instagram.
And she hasn't posted in
20 years. Oh,
yeah.
Is she on your Instagram?
I believe so.
Let me just look on your friends.
Oh, you can do this some other time when we're not recording and sitting here watching you.
I'm talking and
scroll.
I'm talking and typing. But all right, well, shit. Let's see what's going on. Did I tell you I'll probably be having knee surgery soon too? Yeah, I did say that. So, what is it? Not this upcoming Tuesday, but next Tuesday at 01 in the morning. I have an MRI, and
they do them in the middle of the night.
Well, they normally do them early in the morning. Like every MRI I've ever had, I had an MRI for my ACL a couple times early in the morning. I had an MRI for my elbow early in the morning.
Early in the morning is 6 a.m. or something like that. 1 in the morning is middle of the night.
Sure, by your time zone, but in my time zone, 01 is 01. Your time zone is midnight, so it is the middle of the night, right? Because after midnight, when you get to 12:59 and it goes to 01, it's morning, right?
Dude, if the sun ain't coming up, it ain't morning.
Mm. That's right. In the civilian world, you're absolutely right. But, any rate, I've had them at 05. I've had them at 06. I've had them at, like, I had at least two MRIs on my left knee back in 2001, and I had one MRI on my elbow, and maybe I'll just have one on my knee. But I don't know. I think part of the reason they do them in the morning is you're still tired, so when you're laying on that table, you're not moving. Because I normally fall asleep. Have you ever been in an MRI before?
Yeah, twice in the last 6 months.
Okay, so it's cold room, and you got to lay still on the table.
Yeah, they gave me Valium. The first night was through the ER. The first one was through the ER when we were trying to figure out what was going on, and they did a CT on me first. Said, "Oh, I don't know. We can't really tell. Here's some drugs. Go home. Let us know how it is in a few days."
Mm-hmm.
When they still had no answer for me when the drugs ran out, and I went back. I was like, "All right, well, they don't have any answers, so I guess we're going back to the emergency room."
Hmm.
And I knew that we needed an MRI because we had talked to a couple different doctors, and they said we really need an MRI, and they scheduled me one, but that was like a month out. I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm going to be just dealing with this for a month. And so we went to the ER. Um, one of the ER nurses was nice enough to, I explained that I needed to have an MRI, and it's like, well, we don't just send people to the MRI unless they meet certain criteria. And so he started asking me these questions and like nodding his head. So are you feeling feverish? Well, not really. Are you feeling feverish? Nodding his head. Maybe, yeah, maybe a little. Okay. And are you, and kind of down this list, like, oh, sounds like you need to have an MRI. And they stuck me in there and realized how fucked up my back was, and that's why I couldn't walk, and so on. And I had tremendous amounts of pain. I thought, honestly, when it first happened, I thought it was my hip, because the sheer amount of pain, it felt like it was originating in my hip. But yeah, turned out to be the fucked up spine.
Hmm. But
But they
yeah.
gave me for my follow up MRI. The first one though, I had an IV, and they gave me a shot of something that kind of knocked me out. And then the second one, they gave me three Valium. I was supposed to take two immediately. Basically, I was like, go to the pharmacy on the way to the get the MRI on the way to the hospital, and take the two immediately. When I get there, then crunch up the third one, eat the third one, chew it up, and that did me just fine. In fact, I was really gun shy about, oh, it's just a simple in-office procedure, because that was the first thing they did with my fucking bleeding butthole, and it was the most traumatic experience I've ever had, the most pain I've ever felt in my life. And so I've been pretty gun shy about the whole, oh, simple in-office procedure, about getting the snippy snip. And I'd actually talked to the doctors about, like, hey, I mean, when you're putting me under, to do all that stuff, you mind flipping me over and, sniffing that shit? But in fact, I really should do it right now while I'm still not fully mobile. I think about it. But yeah, three Valium, dude, worked wonders for me.
Hmm.
As long as they give me the three Valium, do the three Valium trick on me before the snippety snip, I'll be fine in that office. I won't give a fuck. Oh, so you're about to slice my balls? All right, well, whatever. Be careful.
Yeah. Well. Um. I just know every time I did an early morning MRI, maybe it has something to do with your stomach being empty. Um. Maybe it has something to do with your body's naturally still in that resting rate, so you're less prone to moving. Me, in my case, I just fall right asleep, and I wake up 30 to 45 minutes later. Especially
I
with
just
all the.
couldn't. I just couldn't hang with that being stuffed in that tiny tube.
It's not that small, dude.
It
Either you're a really fat dude or you're just a weirdo.
yeah, it makes me a little claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But and all that, and they initially were like trying to get me to wear my mask. They're like, listen, if you want to pull me out every single time that you suspect to take my mask off, then so be it. But fuck you. Well, we put sick people in there. Yep, don't care. I'll lick the fucking top of this MRI machine. I give no fucks. Just get this done.
Mm.
But the second time, I was just zonked out. Didn't care.
Well, I know they're gonna find something. They're gonna have to do surgery, and I'm cool with that. I've. Sorry. I've been up.
What was
a
most
long
irritating
time.
though is the last MRI. They didn't find anything they could fix. And that's when like, well, it is what it is. Just gonna have to deal with the pain.
Yeah. Well, the dude that did my elbow just basically said, well, I don't want to do it. Reasons. I was like, look, man, I just want range of motion. I want those weird things taken out. I had some floaties. I had a bone spur. It's like, just make it work, man. I'll do the rehab. It's not a big deal. So he did it. And and if they find something on my knee and they say, we got to go in there and do this, I'll say, just do the exact same procedure they did on my left knee. So if it's an ACL, go in and do the exact same thing they did to my left knee, and I'll rehab it just the same. And from what I can recall, like, rehabbing my knee was a lot more painful than my elbow, like insanely more difficult, obviously, because it's a load-bearing joint versus a hanging joint and reasons, but I'll do it. But I am at that point where when I walk, I can feel like shift. So if this was I can feel it shifting, and it's just, when you don't have an ACL, there was like 2 months, 2 to 3 months wait time for me to have that surgery on my left knee, and I just be walking without an ACL and I just fall, just tumble. Nothing you could do about it. You could be just walking in a straight line, or you could be standing up, just fall. So just fix it. I think that's one of the things I can say. Anybody that's ever had surgery on like a lower extremity, could be your knee, could be your ankle, could be your tarsals, your phalanges down there, whatever. It's just, maybe even a hip. I haven't met anybody that had hip surgery, but like, being able to trust your body to do what it's supposed to do is probably the hardest part. Like, when you already can sense that weakness, you tense your muscles up and you don't do something 100%. So like I am now, I'll walk and then I'll feel it kind of slip, and I just kind of stop. And I still go to the gym. I just don't work out the lower body really. The most I'll do is I'll do some machines, and I'll just do very lightweight just to keep the muscle there. So I'm not doing heavy, stupid weight. I'm not trying to tear something or collapse a machine on me. I just, like, I'll do some leg curl machines. I'll do singles. I'll do doubles. I'll do calf raises. I'll do leg curls. But I don't do any free weights with the barbell, because there's just no support there for me if something catastrophic does go wrong. But I think depending on what your injury is, I think that's pretty important, is maintaining your muscle density there, your muscular strength and stuff, because when it comes to joints like that, research has shown that muscle can compensate for the lack or the weakness of the ligaments, or basically the ligaments. But the best part is there's really no pain there. It's not a tendon, it's not a muscle. Those things have nerves in them, but ligaments don't have nerves. Like, the most that will happen is you'll get pain from swelling. So when you tear something and it begins to swell, you'll get the pain from the swelling. But I haven't officially torn anything yet. I think it's starting to go. So I'll be right there with you. I'll be bitching about my rehab every week. But I'm trying to push that shit until I move. If they say, yeah, you need surgery, when they're like, okay, can you document it, put it in my records, and then when I get down the road over there, I'm just going to show up and start scheduling specialists, and we'll go there. But yeah. Yep.
Surgeries suck.
Yeah, they do, but in my line of work, at this point in my career, surgeries are like something you kind of look forward to. You get the vacation time, and then you also get the stuff documented. You get all your boo-boos fixed. So from you doing all that time in the service, and you get everything documented, whether you bumped your head, your toe, you had an adverse reaction from a COVID shot that the government made you take. You get all that shit documented, and you roll up into a packet. And then when it's time for you to shake hands and salute Uncle Sam, then the Veterans Association will be cutting you a check every month. And depending on the severity of your injury or the number of injuries you have and what they are, depends obviously on your percentage. And quite frankly, for the longest time, I'll be honest, I didn't want to be 100% disabled. I don't want the little thing on my license plate. I don't want the parking spot. I don't give a shit. But I fucking hate taxes. If you're 100% disabled, there's a lot of states you don't pay property tax, and that's pretty fucking alluring to me. Like, so I don't pay, and then I think your VA check is non-taxable, if I'm not mistaken. So, right, you're gonna get your pension, your 50% of your base pay, and then your VA check, if it's 100%, is non-taxable, and your property tax is you don't pay property tax. You can file an exemption for that for being 100% disabled. Now, some states, if you're 100% disabled, you can't get another job. I guess I'd have to do the research and find out if Texas is that state, because obviously, like, I would like to go back to work. Now, if a VA check is 100% VA check, non-taxable, is a lot of money on top of my 50% base pay, and it's enough for me to stay at home and be a stay-at-home dad, then fucking let's do it. So, but yeah, it's kind of how I look at it. Been sucking that army dick for 20 years. I better get something out of it. I guess the problem I did think of, Darian, is if you get all these entitlements and you get out, and then 5 years later there's a great divorce, I probably get fucked on that, don't I?
Nope. Yeah. Sucks to be you.
Yeah. But yeah.
Although I don't think that you necessarily be fucked over it. I just think that it wouldn't be. I mean, if you were 100% disabled, you'd still probably get your disability checks and so on. You wouldn't get them from the feds, but I think Texas would step up, or the individual states would step up as much as they could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So far, the only thing I can claim is elbow asthma. I could always just go with my dick doesn't work.
You can get full disability for that.
Well, like I said, there's some things you're gonna get full disability for. Like, I think sleep apnea, which I did take the sleep test, and they said I didn't have sleep apnea, so okay. But sleep apnea, I think, gives you like 70% disability off the rip. So I think they have like,
really?
Yes.
Seriously?
Well, sleep is fucking muy importante, man.
Well, yeah, but they've got all sorts of things to
No, they do
counter that, like CPAPs.
Yes, but that doesn't matter. What matters is, like, if you came in the Army and you never were clinically diagnosed with something, it could be cancer, bro. And then you join the Army and all of a sudden you get cancer, like, you can claim that. That's just how it works. Well, I didn't have cancer before I joined the Army. Okay, well, he was in for 4 years, and then we had to, because I actually knew a guy I was at Fort Lee with who got testicular cancer. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a terrible way to get 100%. So I think they removed one of his nuts, but they do they do give you a CPAP, and they do give you whatever, but you are reliant on that machine for the rest of your life. At least if you want to live a somewhat normal life, right? Like, because sleep regulates your hormones, it regulates your ability to repair, so your health, like everything revolves around sleep. More so than I would argue more so than diet. If somebody asked me what's more important, sleep or diet, I'd probably be like sleep, hands down. If you're not sleeping, then you're not fucking. If you're not sleeping, then you're not exercising. If you're not sleeping, then mentally you're going to go at some point. Like, everything will break down. Like, yeah, you can probably work around a terrible diet, but you're fucked for the rest of your life. You are bound to that machine, and it is not a quiet machine. And you got to get filters for it. You got to clean it. I mean, there's just a lot of maintenance with it. So you have to make a decision. Do you want a sleep apnea machine or not? And if you don't take the sleep apnea machine, then you don't get the VA benefit for it. They even have sleep apnea machines where, and I'm telling you from a guy that got one, and I think he got out at 100%. I think he had something else going on, but it has a timer on it, kind of like like a generator. Like you turn on the generator, it has like a little counter for hours. So every so often you have to go meet like your VA rep, and you have to bring in your CPAP machine, and they have to log how many hours you've used on it to make sure you're using it, to make sure you still get your check. Because some people will just go through the motion, get the CPAP machine, never use it, and then the Army's like, or the VA's like, well, if you're not going to use your CPAP machine, then you're not going to get. So you get 70% off the rip for that. You get like 100% for PTSD, but PTSD, I think you got to go through a little bit more screening, because obviously there are people out there that will, tell sad stories to try to, oh, I saw this happen, or I saw this happen, and I can't sleep at night, or I can't do this and this. And it's really hard for somebody to prove or disprove it. But in this case, it's them trying to disprove it so that you're not sucking off the government teeth. So as far as I'm concerned, between elbow surgery, potentially knee surgery, asthma, I'll be sitting pretty high. I don't know if I'll be 100%, but we'll see. But yeah, sleep apnea is like 70%, just like that. So something to consider. Just join for like a couple years, get out, get diagnosed with sleep. You have sleep apnea?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I've got a CPAP that I don't use.
Why don't you use it?
Because I just don't like it.
Hmm.
Actually, really, I was using it for a while, and then I need to get it serviced or some shit, and I just fuck it.
Well, how did you get it? Did you buy it yourself?
Yep.
You didn't have insurance cover it?
Nope.
Okay.
I had a sleep study when I was covered at the time by Kaiser, and did the sleep study, and right at that time I switched insurance plans, or right after that I switched insurance plans, and because that was actually when I think that was when the one company bought the company I was working for, and everything switched and got shuffled around, and I just like fuck it, and I just bought one and set it myself and used it, and never got it serviced. And
yeah, I went in and I got the diagnosed thing. I had to not drink caffeine or use any stimulants and not eat greasy food, which I did all this stuff. I had the guy that I told you that got out was telling me, he's like, make sure you eat some shit like some Popeyes before you go in there. So he was like telling me how to beat the system, and I was actually more interested in just seeing if I had sleep apnea. And they hooked me up to all this shit. There's a camera sitting in the corner, and you can fucking.
Oh, so you actually had to sleep there in the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck that. No, I had a home sleep study where they had this special machine or whatever that, I don't know, counted how many times I woke up in the night, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it does that too. And there's a camera staring. Like what they told me was like that you don't have sleep apnea, but you have like restless leg syndrome or some shit like that. I don't know. I really don't know. That whole time I was in Virginia though, I did have a really hard time sleeping. And I wasn't necessarily sleeping. It'd be one of two things. I'd go to sleep and then maybe I'd wake up at 4 hours. Or it just wasn't really good sleep. Like good quality sleep. And I wasn't snoring or anything. But I did get really, really hot. Like my back would get really hot. I guess I just turned into a radiator or something. So, but then apparently I don't have sleep apnea. We'll get the test done again. We'll get it done again.
Bamboo sheets, man. Bamboo sheets.
What's that? What's that? Bamboo sheets?
Yeah, your voice just cut out.
Hello?
Your mic is muted.
Hello? Hello, hello? My thing is moving.
Mike's muted in Discord.
Oh, oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
No, if you look at Discord, you can see a little mic cross slashy thingy.
Hello.
There you go. There you
Jesus.
go.
I guess I like hit the keyboard and I guess I toggled it, but bamboo sheets.
Bamboo sheets. They're
Okay.
great. They're cool and
Yeah, I'll be honest. Most of the time, I don't even sleep in a bed. I sleep on the floor next to the crib, or I sleep on the couch next to the baby monitor. But I'll look into it. I've been looking at some sheets for a while. Boll and Branch, my pillow. There's another one, but bamboo sheets. I'll add that one to my list of things to look at. Yeah. How are the cats?
fine. Just Roscoe's sitting there by the door, looking at me like, "Why'd you lock me in here?"
I just say because one of my friends just lost a cat. One of my coworkers' buddies lost a cat, and he took it pretty hard. You know, just snuck up on him. Usually, what it does. Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of wishing my neighbors' pets would cross that rainbow bridge. I don't know how I get surrounded by people that are just terrible, terrible pet parents. I don't understand. I can't understand for the life of me, but I do. Such is my life. Um, Anything noteworthy talking about in the news you want to hit up? Oh, we still got some time.
What news I've been following? I've been on Twitter in like over a month and just haven't fucked around with any of that. I've been just don't know what the fuck's going on. Don't really care. Just doing my own shit.
Mm, I'm trying to think of something worth talking about in 10 minutes. Um, I don't know. I guess locally here in Texas, they had shit was hilarious. So on the border of Del Rio and Acuna, there's a bridge that goes from Texas to Mexico, and there was like 10,000 Haitian immigrants that were staged under the bridge waiting to get picked up by the border patrol. And Fox, I think, I'm pretty sure it was Fox, was out there flying a drone, getting footage of. There's a lot of people out there. 10,000, like that's not a lot, dude. Like that is a lot of people hanging out. It looks like a giant. Looks like Woodstock, bro. Like people sleeping under a bridge. They got tents set up, and they're Haitian refugees. And so the Biden regime got with the FFA, and the FFA essentially told them they put a ban on drones in the area for 2 weeks. They said it was a security concern.
Because I don't want you to see what?
Exactly. So the Texas Department of Public Safety, which is basically the state cops, they got in a helicopter and they took the Fox people around in a helicopter so they could keep filming it. I don't know. So you had that happen. You had you were on the up and up with those drone strikes too, right?
I mean, I knew what was going on, like when they were doing the evacuation. I know they killed a bunch of people. I think it was said at the time they're civilians, and
Mm-hmm. So that Paul guy that you don't like, son of the one that you do like, he said like probably something really good. Like basically he's asking that Abe Lincoln guy, who's he's up there. Like, so did you guys know that you were drone striking a civilian family, or did you know that you were drone striking a humanitarian worker? And he's like, well, no. And he's like, so are you just telling me no because you don't know, or are you telling me no because um, you don't want me to know? And he's like, well, sir, I really don't know. And he's just like, well, if you're gonna drone strike somebody, you should probably know who the hell you're gonna drone strike. And it's just, case in point, like these guys, and I can't figure out for the life of me, did they drone strike it because they wanted to seem like strong, or did they drone strike it because they knew they were gonna kill somebody, but it was gonna take away, look at this shiny thing over here while we do this shit over here. I'm trying to figure out what the gameplay was, you know. And then you have the General Milley guy before that came out from the New York Times, and as much as I don't like the New York Times, they actually kind of did their job digging into that, finding out who the U.S. military killed with the drone strikes. Otherwise, we wouldn't have fucking heard anything about it. You just would have heard the Biden administration saying, "Yeah, we got him, we got him." And it's like, no, you killed 10 innocent people. That's what you did. But yeah, you had like that General Milley guy saying, "Oh, it was a righteous strike. We got him. These reasons." You had a couple generals saying that, and it just kind of undermines people's confidence in, when I say people, I mean people outside the U.S., because people outside the U.S. seem to pay a lot more attention to what goes on in the U.S. than actual fucking Americans, which is pretty goddamn sad, considering I don't know what's going on in Germany besides an election. But yeah, there's a lot of elections going on too. Putin's got an
Well,
election.
yeah, that's because the United States is in the middle of everybody's shit,
Yeah.
and so what happens here tends to trickle over in other parts of the world.
No, you're right about that. So yeah, Putin's probably going to get reelected again.
You don't say.
Probably. Angela Merkel, I think, is
Do you
out of
think
the.
there's any chance Putin is not going to be reelected?
Did you? I don't know too much about Russian government, but they're supposed to only have 2 terms, right? So this guy is obviously breaking the rules, and like, why have they not?
He's not breaking the rules. They got rid of that rule a long time ago.
Oh, did
Just
they?
like China. Yeah, like in China too. They got rid of that two-term rule.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that. But will he lose? No. I think I remember the last election they had. Um, he won, and then a lot of people said that they rigged the votes, and they were protesting, and a whole bunch of people got arrested, and nothing came of it. He just ended up being the president for another term. But no, he'll win again. He'll win again. Angela Merkel is done, so we'll see who takes over Germany. Canada's got an election going on too. I think theirs is at the end of the month. And you basically have 3 people going for it. You have Trudeau, you have some conservative base, and then you have like some kind of Green Party.
They got to be getting rid of Trudeau this time around.
Well, that's the problem, is because the conservative and the Green Party are splitting votes, and I think the favorability before the election was Trudeau by like 32%. But if the votes get split enough between conservative and Green Party between those candidates, there's actually a chance Trudeau will fucking win again. So all hail the multi-tiered party system, which, dude, I agree. I agree that this 2-party system isn't working, but this is an example of how a multi-party system does not work either. It just, like, some people will die on a hill over abortion, or some people will die on a hill over green energy or something, and they won't look at like okay, well, we disagree on this 1 or 2 talking points here. If we can just combine our forces and fuck this guy, then we can hash it out amongst ourselves. And if we don't, then we don't forget.
I'll tell you right now, you ain't gonna convince me to vote Republican.
I'm not talking about you, dude. I'm talking about people in general. And then I think in Norway they had an election, and the Radical Party won the prime minister seat. So, that should be interesting. That place has been going downhill for a long time. I mean, I'm sure it's still a beautiful country, and but I mean, that streamer Canute, that bodybuilder in Norway. I'd like to get him on the show, but he makes good points. This like couple good points about their socialist programs, but it's also because they've been that way for a long time. So for them to just like unplug from the matrix and go to like a libertarian or even a conservative type government, that would fuck up a lot of people because there's so many of their young people that depend on the state and depend on old people with their money in order to, live. Um, Kind of like we were talking with dude about California and why people are the way they are is they just don't know anything better. So they just, and I was like, that's a solid point there. They don't even know they're in the matrix. They don't know there's an outside world with lower taxes and less regulation. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on in the world. Aside from inflation and taxation and government overreach and unconstitutionality and me being on Twitter shutting down liberals one tweet at a time, sometimes four tweets at a time, and just leaving the conversation like, all right, well, you have a nice day. And then you get a notification like 2 months later, like 20 people liked your tweet. And I was like, yes, I feel righteous. But yeah, I've been on the Twitter. I just post memes most of the time. I do like Sal does. I'm just not as popular as Sal. And most of the people that follow me are libertarians, so they probably don't like my tweets anyway. But I have a feeling if I was a libertarian, they wouldn't like my tweets anyway. That's just how libertarians are. So if you ever get back on the Twitter sphere, just go like my memes. You don't have to like my post. Just go like my memes. Make me feel like I'm doing something.
If you post good memes.
I post some pretty dank ones, dude. I steal them from the best places on the internet. Uh, well, dude, it's about time. So why don't you give us like some kind of that fucking knowledge that you give us every now and then? Besides the taxation is theft, could be anything on your mind.
Vintage 70s Fender Precision maple body. That's what I'm looking for. Maple bodied Fender Precision.
Okay.
And taxation is theft.
Okay. Well, thank you for that knowledge, sir.
Maple bodied.
Maple body, dark maple, not that Chinese maple, dark maple.
The heavy you want the heavy maple. You want it to be like a fucking 16-pound guitar.
Yes, that. But yeah, good luck with that. Thank you everybody for tuning into the show. If you could go ahead and leave a comment, like, subscribe, share, dislike, comment, still share.
Or tell us you have a maple bodied Fender Precision that you want to part with. Beat up is fine. Electronics not working is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ripping everything apart anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Chances are someone's got it. It's just got somebody's signature on it, so you're probably not going to want to fuck with that. And it's going to cost you a lot of money anyway.
I don't give a fuck whose signature's on it.
Dude, what if it was like Buddy Holly, or what if it was like, what was that?
Buddy Holly played guitar, but
yeah, but he still signed he's signed a bass guitar. It doesn't matter. People sign shit.
If I stumbled onto something like that, I'd turn around, sell it, and then buy a maple bodied bass guitar that I can do what I want with it.
Yeah, right on. But yeah, that's gonna be it.
And Steve Harris is God.
There you go. Thank you. There you go. That's the only thing besides taxation and stuff. You should have just said that. The rest of that isn't.
Steve Harris is God and taxation. You know what? We were watching something tonight, and it was like one of those killing time moments. So like, I don't have time to actually watch anything. And I was throwing one of those stupid YouTube, top lists or whatever. And one of them was like, top 10 reasons why Steve Harris is a bass god or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even remember what the guy was talking about. And my wife interjected something. It was like, Oh, and I paused it and like, oh, sorry. So I was like, no, 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 don't apologize for praising the Lord in this house. And she laughed and said what she was going to say, and we went on, started
Nice.
back up. But
Yeah.
yeah, as far as bass players, Steve Harris is one of the top ones, especially for like rock and metal. Steve Harris is definitely like prog. Getty, it could be argued Getty Lee, and Getty Lee is a phenomenal bassist. And Les Claypool from Primus, he is a phenomenal bassist, but I cannot stand that style and that sound.
Mm.
But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Iron Maiden lately, and thinking about it, Iron Maiden is probably the best metal band of all time, as far as just longevity, albums, ratings, filling stadiums, shit like that. One of my bucket list things was to like see a Maiden show in South America, in particular Rio, where
Okay.
there's 200,000 people all crammed in there trying to rocking out to this one fucking band. So yeah, Steve Harris is a god. Go listen to the new Iron Maiden album. And
And
Taxation is Theft.
taxation is theft. And one more, just because you brought it up, like Ozzy's not in Iron Maiden, so this
No.
is Iron Maiden minus Ozzy. Okay.
What? Ozzy was never an Iron Maiden.
What was he in?
Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath. Okay, thank you. See how much I know. Thank you for clearing that up. I'll probably forget in like 2 weeks. But again, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, dislike, share the video, and we'll see you guys next week.
Ask
And
your friends if they got a bass guitar, maple bodied, Fender Precision.
and that being said, I'm Jake,
I'm Drake.
and this is Jake Drake Show.